So according to my YouTube Creator Studio, right now I'm at exactly 30,000 subscribers, which means that my estimate of when I'm going to hit 30,000 subscribers, when I announced this video last weekend, was spot on. So, without any further ado, hey there guys and gals, and welcome to the massive D4A giveaway of parts. So, before we start, before I show you the parts that are being given away, let me explain how this is going to work. The rules are simple. This is first come, first served, and everything of course is being given away for free. All you gotta do is pay the shipping. The shipping will be free for some items, it will be really cheap for others, and for the big and heavy stuff, it might be a bit on the pricey side. But it's still going to be way cheaper than if you were actually to buy those parts from someone. So, how it works. You're going to see the items that I'm going to list that are being given away. Once you see something you like, you can send an email. You're going to send an email to this address. In that email, I want to see two things. Number one is I want to see a picture of your project car, your engine, or whatever else you might need the parts for. In that picture, I want to see you holding a little piece of paper on which there is a handwritten note saying, "Give me parts D4A." So something like this. Now, of course, in the picture, you do not have to show your face. Thing number two I want to see in an email is just a one sentence, saying why you need the part. So this is the minimum requirement to participate. Once you say which parts you want, you can apply, a single person can apply for a maximum of 2 parts, 2 items. Once you tell me which parts you want and give me the exact address in your email, that's also what you need to put in the email, I'll tell you how much the shipping exactly is. I'm going to offer tracked and non-tracked shipping, so it means cheaper and a bit more expensive, and you can choose which one you want. As soon as you pay the shipping, I'm going to send the parts to you, and the parts will be therefore given away. There will be a list of all the items in the video description and in the pinned comment, and as soon as something is given away, I will state that in that list so you will know what is already gone and what you can still apply for. The giveaway is open until Thursday, this day, this time. What is given away until then will be given away, and after that the giveaway will be closed. On that day I will also publish a little video of all the winners. So what you also, by sending an email to this email, you're acknowledging that you're allowing me to show the picture and the text you send, in the winner announcement video. So that's the minimum requirement to participate. If you want to be creative, if you want to send wacky pictures, funny pictures, send some more text in the picture, even send videos, you want to show off maybe your YouTube channel, you want to show off your Instagram, whatever you want, you're very welcome to do so, and I will show that in the winner announcement video as well. So those are pretty much the rules to participate, and without further ado, let's see the items. So first up for grabs is this genuine, brand new Aisin oil pump for the 4AG engine, along with the little oil seal. So this is the round teeth, the round gear teeth style oil pump, which is good. It's the thinner one, not the thicker one, so this might not be appropriate for a extreme 4AG build race application. It's more appropriate for something milder, and it will work just fine on stock and mild 4AG builds. So here you can see some pictures of the item and the estimated shipping cost. Next up to be given away are these genuine OEM Toyota connecting rod bushings. These go into the small end of your connecting rod, and they are for the bigger late big port connecting rods with a 22mm small end and 42mm big end of your connecting rod. Toyota still makes these brand new, and if I remember correctly, they were kind of pricey. I bought them in advance because I thought I needed them. Turns out mine were perfect, so I'm giving these away. Shipping for these is free because they're really small and light. Next up, we have a Toyota MR2 Mark I engine mount. This is a used engine mount but it's in really good condition with zero damage and zero defects. Here you can see the thickness of the engine mount, so you can compare it to the one used on your car, and as far as I know, this one is for the early pre-facelift Mark 1A Toyota MR2. Next on the list is a Toyota 4AG ECU. This is the actual ECU from my MR2 Mark 1, and it suits a 4AG that uses an airflow meter. So this is the part number, so you can see if it's right for your car. Here we have another 4AG ECU up for grabs, and this one is for a 4AG using a map sensor. Now I bought this one used when I thought about doing a map conversion to my 4AG, but I have since given up on that, so this is up for grabs as well. Now this one came from a Toyota Celica. I bought it used and I was told it works. However, I have never tested it. It most likely works because these things never go faulty, but I cannot guarantee, that it works 100%, like I can guarantee for the ECU from my MR2, which I have tested and which I know works perfectly. So here's the part number, so you can see if it's suitable for your application. Next up, we have a set of 4AG injectors. These are from my car, from my 4AG engine, and I have fully rebuilt these ones with new O-rings, new pinto caps, new everything, and I had them ultrasonically cleaned. So this means they're pretty much good as new. Here we have another set of 4AG injectors. These have the different color connectors. As far as I know, these have a bit more cc of flow, but double check that. I have not rebuilt these ones. I bought them used, but you can rebuild them, just like I did with mine, and they should work just fine. They also come with a set of brand new rubber grommets at the bottom that I bought but never got to use. Next on the list is this TVIS variable intake manifold butterflies from my 4AG engines. As you can see, I have cleaned it a bit, and I also replaced all the vacuum hoses with brand new ones. It works perfectly. I remember it working just fine in my engine. Ever since that, it has been packaged nicely, so it is definitely in good working condition. It has a tiny bit of a rattle when the engine is at idle. You can barely hear it, but when you get underneath the car, you can actually hear it. But other than that, it works just fine. Next up is another TVIS manifold. This one is dirty. It's not from my engine. I bought it used. I was told it works perfectly. I haven't tested it. If you're willing to give it a shot, and if my TVIS manifold, the good one, goes away quickly, you can give a shot. You can try with this one. It most likely works, but as I said, I cannot guarantee 100%. Next up is this resistor box. You need this for your injectors in case you're using low impedance injectors on your 4AG, which is what most big ports are actually using. Next up, we have the Jimmy throttle bracket. This is a little upgrade for the MR2 Mark 1. It replaces the big ugly throttle bracket thing on the cam covers on the MR2 and makes your engine bay simpler and neater. This one is of course in perfect condition. It's a simple thing, other than the fact that I have butchered it right here to be able to accommodate my EGR piping. So if you have EGR on your engine and want this, might be a good opportunity. So next up is some EGR piping. Basically the whole EGR assembly that I have actually stripped the paint from and then painted it with some high temperature paint. Now this thing also comes with the bolts you need for it, and it's actually a little piece of D4A history. Restoring this thing was one of the first ever jobs I did when I started working on the car, and it's also featured in one of the first ever D4A videos, which is also one of the most boring ever D4A videos, but this is your chance to grab some D4A history. Next up we have a 4AG throttle body. This one is also from my 4AG engine. It comes with a working throttle position sensor. It has the vacuum ports needed for the EGR. The idle air control valve has been sealed off, which means you will need to hold the throttle down a bit until your engine warms up, or set up some sort of choke system. If you want only the throttle position sensor, that's also possible in the case of this part, so let me know when you send that email. Next up is another throttle body. This one is not from my 4AG engine, so I do not know whether it works properly. It also comes with a throttle position sensor. If you want only that, also possible with this one, let me know. This is for a non-EGR 4AG. It does not have the vacuum ports needed for the EGR, and the status of the idle air control valve is unknown. Here we have a 4AG distributor. It's used, but it's in good working condition, although I would replace the cap and rotor, but it's very cheap. It comes with a heat shield and with the very, very rare bracket for sorting the spark plug wires. Here you can see the connector and the insides of the distributor, so you can check whether it's the right one for your engine. Next we have a 4AG ignition coil and igniter. This is also from my 4AG, tested, and it worked without any issues at all. Here you can see a picture of the igniter and the ignition coil, and here you can see the connectors, so you can check whether it's the right one for you. Next up is a set of 4AG cam gears. Not much to say here. They fit any stock 16 valve 4AG and will work just fine. Next up we have a 4AG crankshaft pulley. These are getting increasingly rare and seem to be kind of expensive sometimes. This one has a bit of damage in the back, but that will not prevent it from doing what it needs to do. Next on the list is this airflow meter from my 4AG engine. I have tested it and it works great. The seal hasn't been removed and it hasn't been tampered with. I have measured it with a multimeter and it works great. Ran on my engine ran well. You can have it with or without this silicone hose coupler thing. What else? The brackets for attaching it to the chassis, to the frame of a MR2 Mark I are missing. And that's about it. It's a bit on the heavy side, so shipping might be a bit pricey on this one. Next one is another airflow meter, and I got this one from eBay from a guy somewhere in Canada, if I remember correctly. This one looks a lot nicer than mine. It has the bracket, it hasn't been bent. It is missing this part, which is the little adapter, which you will need to source. The seal has been removed and it has been tampered with it a bit. I have ran this on my engine. The engine ran, but it idled kind of weird and ran just a bit weird, so you might need to set this one up, but it looks almost brand new and I think it hasn't been used very much. So if you can find the bracket for the air intake hoses, you might be, getting yourself a really nice part, as these are also getting kind of rare. Next we have this thing, which is a fuel rail together with a pulse dampener and a fuel pressure regulator and the spacers and bolts, as well as the fuel hoses. This is also from my MR2. I have tested this, it worked well. The fuel pressure regulator works. It has a new O-ring on it. I have cleaned everything and the bolts are new. Here we have another fuel rail together with the fuel lines, pulse dampener and fuel pressure regulator, this time without the bolts and the spacers. This is from a Toyota Celica running a 4AG engine. The fuel lines are shorter than in the MR2. I haven't tested it. I was told it works. It most likely does, but as I said, haven't tested it. Next up is a 4AG spark plug valley cover. This one has no damage, hasn't been bent, hasn't been cracked anywhere, but it is in a bit of a rough shape. But again, it's nothing some blasting and painting won't fix. Next is the plate that goes between the transmission and the engine in the case of a 4AG. Here you can see how it looks and whether you need it. It needs a bit of a cleanup. Other than that, it's perfect. So next on the list is a set of late big port 4AG camshafts. These are also for my engine. They are in good used conditions. They have some very tiny scratches, but nothing you can feel with your finger. I ran them on my engine and they ran fine. The only problem with these is that they're pretty heavy, so shipping will probably be pretty expensive, and I do not know if this particular part will make sense to anyone because of the price of the shipping. But I guess if you're somewhere, you know, in some very remote corner of the world and you can't find a set of camshafts anywhere, maybe, you know, this will make sense for you. And our last item for the giveaway is the 4AG backing plate for your cam gears and your timing cover. You cannot have a timing cover without this, and setting up cam timing with this thing, because it has marks on it, is a lot easier. It has no damage, but it needs a bit of a cleanup and maybe even some blasting and painting if you want it to look really, really nice. And there you have it. Those are all the parts ready to be given away. So, what are you waiting for? Go get busy, write me an email, and win some free 4AG parts.